Welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm sorry I'm laughing because thank God we can laugh. I don't know if
Right.
everybody was on for the last show, but we had a really big scare. Um, of course, everybody knows that Jim does broadcasting from Long Island for us. We partner with Jim. And I was trying to communicate with Jim too that we were done and that the show was going to end. And Jim wasn't answering. So I just closed out on the Zoom end and said, Judy, and I tried, of course, I tried to call him and I tried to, reach out to his family and he wasn't answering. So I think it was a good 5 minutes, right, Judy?
Yes.
And finally I said, Judy, we got to call the police. So Jim, we have to got to put everybody on the screen here of why we're laughing. And then
We're all
of
on.
course we'll get to our wonderful guest who actually had the patience and empathy for us
Got to witness it.
to witness us in a little bit of a frenzy. And
Oh, let's
Gabriel
go.
and Gary, and they have a wonderful story, which we cannot wait to hear. But I think when the moment arrives that you have to take the moment to share, the importance of calling the police and reacting quickly. And so, Judy, what did you do?
Well, I called 911. I gave Jim's address and I said it's an emergency. I had to explain we were doing a show on stroke and aphasia, and all of a sudden Jim became unresponsive, and we feel that something really bad happened. And she's saying, "Well, what is the? I gave the address. What is the cross streets?" I said, "I don't know. I'm in another location." And they're going, "Is he breathing?" I said, "I don't know. Is he home alone?" Well, his daughter is there. I don't know about his wife. And they're asking me, and then they said they transferred me to someone else in the police department. And then they said, they went through everything again. And then when they were finished, they said to me, they may have to call me back. I said, I just want to note that if I'm not near my phone, there's an Elvis recording on my
We're all laughing now. Thank God. Thank
so,
God. But
Right.
then Jim,
so on my end, I'm just sitting
Jim
here.
said Jim
I'm
was
sitting here,
resting.
and Jennifer.
He fell asleep.
Well, I didn't realize I fell asleep. Jennifer's yelling downstairs and says, "Jim, did you call an ambulance?" And I'm like, "Why would I call an ambulance?" So she's like, "Well, there's two ambulances out front with the fire department and the police." And I said, "Well, that's kind of crazy. It must be for the neighbors or something." So I'm listening
No.
upstairs, and I'm realizing that I got cut off of the show. So I'm trying to get back on the show, and I can hear them upstairs. And the guy comes down. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then I realized they fell asleep, and uh, and I can't thank you guys enough because on your end, like your guest just mentioned, the guest was sitting in a chair. Like I was bragging about this comfortable chair I have, and this comfortable chair made me so comfortable that I fell asleep. And
But
like your
that's
guest
never
was saying,
happened in 7 years
what
of
happened.
doing this.
No, it's never happened to me in my life. But I really did not sleep last night. I was saying that before. And like your guest said, the exact same thing happened to him when he had his stroke, and that's not funny. But your reaction was impeccable, and I really think that if something had happened to me, that was a matter of life and death, and you guys would have saved my life because I live pretty far, and they were here pretty quick, and they came with some response team, I got to say, and it was
Oh, I kept saying
it's
to them,
funny now,
it's
but
an emergency. It's an emergency. He's been unresponsive for
oh
five
my
minutes.
god.
Oh my God.
It's
Well, we're
thank
we're
you
we're
thank you again. I mean, I'm embarrassed, but I'm thankful.
don't be embarrassed because like we said in our prior show, like, just have to figure out why it happens.
Yeah.
There's no really reason to be embarrassed. Most people know your history of your back and the surgeries you've been under, and And so you've had a lot of challenges, and the fact that
And
you
all the
even
pain
get up,
he's in.
yeah, and to get up to do
Yeah,
this
all of
show
that
with
stuff.
us,
Yes.
it's a blessing. So the fact that you fell asleep is the best case scenario of the entire thing.
Again,
So
thank you, and
you're welcome.
I
You're welcome.
apologize.
So, oh my God. And then we have to really thank, I'm going to say your name wrong, Gabriell. Gabriell?
Gabrielle, but
Gabrielle.
that's okay.
Gabrielle.
Either way, it's good.
Gabrielle and Gary for, oh my God, they're
Thank
sitting
you.
there,
Thank
you know,
you.
that we never met them before in our entire lives. I found Gary and his work on Facebook and really was attracted to it so much by his story when we started to and researching. We really quickly asked them to be on our telethon, and of course they said yes. And we use that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful video, which I'll post on my Facebook page again, because it really speaks the language of art. It's so incredible. And then, you know, God, thank you so much for bearing with us. You know, we were actually going to reschedule until we heard, till Jim hopped back on. Judy was like, okay, I got my calendar. You know, Judy, she's like,
Right.
no, don't leave until I get your next date, you know?
Business, that's right. Get things
But,
organized.
Judy, why don't you read your press for them so we could have a little intro to the story? And thank you for joining us, Gary. We really appreciate it.
Gary Bachers suffered a devastating stroke at the age of 38. He had trouble expressing himself, aphasia robbing him of the ability to converse or write and leaving him without use of his right side. Gary turned this event into a positive with the assistance of his lovely wife, Gabrielle, and he became skilled with wax pencil drawings and can be seen on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Both Gabrielle and Gary will discuss how art became his new language. Gary survived the stroke and turned adversity into positive action. And we're so proud of you, Gary.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
He's a
So,
pretty
can you speak, Gary, or you, or
he can say a few words,
Yeah, so.
you know, but
you want-
a word or two, but he can't really,
Yeah.
not in sentences, and he can't converse. You know how it, you know, you can say it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and sometimes
But
it's not the right word when he says it.
Yeah, that's okay. We totally understand.
Yeah.
But you can totally understand us.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
He
pretty
reads.
amazing
Yeah.
that he can comprehend. And so you took your art, and that's how you just channel your communicating through your beautiful paintings, which are on the wall. Gabrielle,
There's some
just
up here
turn-
behind us.
yeah. I mean, they're
Wow.
they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
That's all up there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he does
That's
just, and they're
beautiful.
just exquisite, so detailed and beautiful. But
You-
yeah, and you know, he was a physician before the stroke, so that
I
certainly
didn't
changed his
know.
life and our, you know, our whole family's life. It was
Yeah.
a different path for sure. But yes, he understands the aphasia.
Yeah.
He, you know, he can't write, he can't transfer his thoughts into written word. You know, he can't transfer them into spoken word. He reads, he can, you know, he reads, you know, novels, newspaper, he understands everything, but it's the expressive end. And it's, you know, it's hard for anyone to understand. Even physicians don't quite understand how that all works. You know, the brain is amazing.
Yeah.
And anyway, so
take us back to the beginning. Take us back to, like you just said, what did you used to, what is your path? What is your history?
well, I was his office manager at his office. He was in private practice here in Texas, and I went to take the kids to school early in the morning on a Monday morning, and I came back and I saw him sitting in the chair in the recliner, and I said, Gary, hurry, your patients are already there. Come on, get up, let's go. No response. And then, you know, just, you know, call. Luckily, we have a physician, a neighbor in the neighborhood, and I called him over quickly, called the police. So they whisked him off, and that was the beginning of the new journey.
Yeah.
So,
And he had a massive bleed.
A massive,
So he had
that's
a
what I was
hemorrhagic
asking.
stroke.
Right. He had a hemorrhagic stroke. So that
Wow. And
Yeah.
how long did they determine, like, was he by himself for a long time?
No, I had no idea because I took
Yeah.
the kids to school, and when I came back, he was probably alone for about half an hour, I would say. But I don't know when he had it. His tea
Yeah.
was still hot because he had tea in the morning. His hot tea was on the counter, but he was just sitting there in the recliner, and
You know, I have to tell you, I don't know your faith, but wow, God really played,
Yeah.
showcased today.
Yeah.
Like, just think about what just happened.
right.
I mean, honestly, just think about, I mean,
It was a
we're all
reenactment, right?
right, right. We're all
doing,
we're all like humorous about it because
Yeah.
thank God it is very funny. But the fact that Jim was okay and Gary suffered a
Wasn't,
bleed, and they were both in the same, it just vividly, it
Yeah.
just astounds me that at this moment in time that we had that happen. And of course, when you came back, you called your neighbor, or you called 911.
Both, both.
Both, both.
Um,
And
yeah,
what kind of doctor lives next to you?
they're both family practice.
Yeah.
Gary was family practice, and he was too. But yeah, and I think the other takeaway is just don't, he was saying that he was embarrassed that the police came. Well, it's better to be embarrassed instead of taking a chance. Just,
Yes.
err on the, even I remember having that, well, that's kind of, should I call anyone? It's kind of ridiculous. He's probably just sleeping, but he just,
Yeah.
I could tell he was not waking up. So, but you do have that. You don't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want the police here and everything, but yeah.
But we did everything. We did everything we could do. Like I believe we gave it enough time.
Right.
Calling him,
right.
and because I figured, like, if I called him, then he'd hear the phone and he'd wake up. But actually, he
He
had a
didn't.
headset on. That's
Yeah.
why he couldn't hear the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he couldn't hear it?
That's why he couldn't hear the
Right.
phone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm just like astounded at the coincidence, the God wink
Yeah.
from God that just happened. So, all right. So Gary suffered a bleed, and then they took him to the hospital. And I guess they did an MRI or CAT scan. Which did they do?
They did both. And yeah, it was, oh, those first days or those first hours in the hospital are terrible. He was, I couldn't go in anywhere, obviously. I just would peek through the cracks, and he was having seizures, and he was,
Oh my
oh,
God.
it's just awful, awful.
Did he have
awful.
to have a feeding tube put in?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
After, not immediately, but they did have to put it in.
And did you have trouble getting it removed when you had to have it removed? Go to
Yeah,
court?
actually, he developed a really bad lung infection because they had the feeding tube not right. So he kept spiking. His temperature was so high, and they put him on ice bags and everything. Finally, a nurse came in one night, and I said, something is wrong. I mean, and she came in and she pulled out that tube and said, this is it. Immediately, he was fine. You just have to watch things. It's scary. They were filling him up with so many antibiotics, and all he was is they were pumping all that, the feeding, it was going into his lungs, all that food.
And how did you get it removed permanently? Did you have to go to court?
No, I didn't. No, he was slightly conscious by then, so it was okay. Yeah.
So this happened when he was 38. How many years ago was it? How many years had he been dealing?
34 years this weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, on the 9th
Wow.
of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he, of course, he probably, after he regained consciousness, and then I guess he became stable after the lung
Right.
infection.
Yeah, he became stable, and then he spent almost 2 months in the hospital, and then
Wow.
all the rehab and everything, and he didn't really, the speech therapy was so frustrating for him, so frustrating. But we went 2 years of speech therapy. And finally, he just said no. He knew that it wasn't going to improve. He just, as a physician, he understood what had happened and that that's not going to come back.
Right. Oh my gosh.
I think we tend to pray for everything. We want everything to be back the way it was, and it doesn't always happen like that.
It's a new road. It's a new road.
It's
a new road.
totally.
And one of the, because I don't know if you know, but I suffered a major stroke over 30 years ago. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I vividly, it's been a long journey. It's been over 30 years. So I'm able to, I'm blessed to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you.
Yes.
But, it's just, it really is frustrating, to be able to speak, when you can't speak. I couldn't talk. I remember going to a speech therapist and them saying wanting me to write, Gary, that the boy ran. And I
flashcards. Remember those pictures they would hold up?
Yeah. I mean, Gary, what year did he have a stroke? Because mine was in 1980. What was it? 1986? 1989.
He was 1987.
Yeah. So 2 years
Very
prior
close.
to mine.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. It's incredible. So how did, I know the recovery is really, really difficult, and it's a new road that we have to go down. Now, this is what I was going to say, that sometimes we have to let it go and accept that we're going down a new road. And that happens with everybody in different facets, right? I mean,
exactly.
It happens in illness or in divorce or death or, whatever. You have to go down that new road. And that must have been really hard for you and your family.
Yeah, it was hard. But, it's a one step at a time journey. You just, it's like shedding things slowly. You shed a little bit of that past and then start new. And he was, he started doing his artwork just really as a way to get his left hand. So he, because he still has no use of his right side. So, he started drawing and copying books to get his handwriting. But slowly his art just, of course, it didn't happen very overnight, but it just started developing into this really amazing, beautiful work. And anyway, it was just, the first everybody, your family and your friends, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, And then I thought, well, let me just try entering this into some contests and see, And then he started winning, and I thought, wow, well, this is nice. Well, it's something that he can be proud of. He can have a purpose, it's important.
Right. But what I love about it is each painting probably has a different story to it. And what I gather is the gift that Gary is giving to those that can't speak and that have trouble, not even trouble speaking so much, but trouble communicating how they're feeling. And when you look at a photo, it's whatever that person needs to grasp from it. And that's such a gift. I mean, it really is a gift. So is that the way that you go down the path with each showcase is really his story about it? And then because the paintings are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but when you know the backstory to the new path that Gary had to go down, and the struggles that it took to get there, and look at the beautiful painting, and that's the way he's speaking. Like, it's almost like he's speaking through each of his artwork.
Yeah. And they're so, it's a feeling you get, especially when you're surrounded by several of them. There's a real, there's a feeling of, it's a very calming piece. And he always has this moon in the center, and that started years ago. So there's always this one focus in the middle, in the middle or up. And that's, the full moon it's a symbol of that one vision that everyone in the world shares. We all look up. So you can, put your own spin on it, whatever works. But it is something that's uniting, something that is the same for all of us, whether we're rich or poor or, anything,
Yeah,
anything.
black, white, orange,
Black,
red,
white, yes.
a Catholic, a Jewish
Exactly.
faith, or
We all look up
whatever,
to that
whatever.
God.
We're all one. We're all one. That's incredible.
And
That's
also,
incredible.
when there's a full moon, that feeling when you look up and you have that, you feel so small in this vast and amazing world or universe that you see up there. That's, we're just a speck, and our troubles don't seem as bad,
I mean, I really don't do it enough. I really need to do it more, but I love when I go outside and I actually take the time to look up,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for the trees. The trees are alive. They talk to us. They, the winds, I mean, the air, just the stars and the moon and the sky and the planes traveling. Like, it's so precious, and so like the moments are just so valuable, and people, I wish that
We're all
more.
rushing too much. We don't take
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So Gary, so how long did it take to him to get, to the place that he could actually speak through his art?
You I think the first, he got his first award with his art in 1991. So
Wow.
it was 4 years. It was 4 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you, I mean, I probably know the answer to this, but how do you communicate with each other?
Uh, well, it's amazing what you can do with looks and, gestures and the few words, we
Yeah,
can,
it's fine.
it's, I don't know, it's been so long that we just
do it.
And I know him. So we've been married for 48 years. So I think
Wow.
everything about him.
Congratulations.
I know every look, everything. So it's,
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So what's I know that you keep going to these art shows and stuff, but what's the ultimate goal? Like what's the vision for his work? Is really to spread love, to spread unity?
just to spread hope more than anything. So many people, the stroke is devastating. It just, you've got to find a way to pull yourself up and pull yourself together after a stroke, because it's very easy to just give up, and sit in that big recliner and watch TV, because it's depressing. It's challenging to have a reason to wake up, but yeah, we do these shows. We travel. Well, it's a lovely way to travel, first of all, which we never could do otherwise. So we're traveling around and meeting so many people.
Yeah.
And
Where's the show you're going to? Where is the next one?
Palm Springs, California. So
Wow. Oh my
we'd
God.
never be going out there, that's for sure. But it's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And what showcase is it? Like,
It's a big La Quinta. It's in La Quinta, and it's a big art festival that's on every year. It's artists from all over the country.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
really one of the best shows.
What other cities are you going to be traveling to? Maybe we could catch
Well,
up
this is
with
our
you.
last show this year, but we go to Chicago, we go to St. Louis, just really all over,
Yeah,
all over. We, on Texas shows, of course, Houston and.
well, if you ever come to the New York area,
ju-
please let us know, because
Okay.
that's where Judy lives in Long Island and I live
Yeah.
in New Jersey. So we'd love
Okay.
to
Yeah.
come and,
Long Island is fun.
yeah, and experience the art,
Yeah.
Do you sell online or?
We do. Yeah, we do we do. It's, but you have to travel. It's hard. You can't buy art online, I don't think, but we do
People
have
want to
friends
see
which are
the actual
wonderful.
painting.
You have to see, once you've seen his work, then you can, what it really looks like when you go online, but it's impossible to convey the exquisite beauty of
I
it.
think
really.
you fall in love with his paintings when you actually are in front of a painting that you can react to.
Right.
I gotta have that.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's fun to watch people go by and see his art. And there's some people, they, oh, it's beautiful. And there's some people that just, oh my gosh, I just can't leave here. I've got to
Mm,
stay. It's
mm.
so beautiful, and those are the people that get it, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they, I mean, they want to tap into the hope
Right.
that people will be kind to one another, and that we're all one, and that we're
Yeah.
unified. And I'm sure that Gary was an incredible family doctor.
Oh, he
I mean,
was. He was a great doctor. Yeah, and he loved his patients, and he loved being the doctor. It was, we live in a small town relatively, and he was a small town family doctor, with his little case, and he ran out to the football field on Friday nights, and
How did you
almost,
first meet? Did you meet when he hired you as office
no,
manager?
we met in college.
Yeah.
We met in
Oh,
college.
okay.
Yeah.
but it's almost like a Hallmark movie, right? Did you ever watch I love the Hallmark movies. I always,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
good
I, when you're a family doctor, and
yes.
like
Oh yeah.
that
You
little
still
That's
make
home.
house
right.
calls and all that,
Yeah, we miss that. We
Yeah.
miss those family, because the health industry has gotten so
Oh,
so big. And I know that my doctor's still a family, like, self-sustained, but I
yeah.
know other physicians have gone, with hospitals. They
Right.
tap into hospitals.
Because
So
it's so complicated with insurances, and it's just overwhelming, I think. It's
so so when was the last time that when you had the office? Was it over 30 years ago?
yeah.
Yeah, because I
Did
just wanted to tap in, like, if you worked on the back end, like, what issues did you have with insurance? Like, were there issues submitting to insurance, or was it
Oh yeah. I mean,
easy, or
there's so many insurances, and you have to you submit, then they often deny it, so you've got to fight and try and get it paid. And the insurances have been denying claims forever. That's their job, I think. And I
it's so
did hear
sad though, right?
it
Because
is.
look,
It is.
look, Gary suffered a stroke. I mean, w- to me, and one of the battles that one of the advocacies that we always take on is, how could someone back in an office determine whether I still need,
Yeah.
help, or if I
Yeah.
still
Right.
need,
Yeah.
Recovery? I mean,
Yeah.
look how many years it's been from Gary.
Right.
He
Right.
and the truth is that he could still, every day he could get better. Doesn't matter whether it's an inch.
Right.
He can get better, and he has the right as a human being
Right.
to be provided that.
Well, and at this point in his life, we're struggling more with keeping him strong, because, when you have a paralysis, then your body just deteriorates.
Right.
And it's hard, you can't get physical. Well, are you broken? No, we're just trying to maintain so that he doesn't
Yeah.
have to sit forever, and so he can keep moving. And that's
Yeah.
our battle, really. They don't pay. Well, no, you get 5 weeks. Well,
Yeah.
his life
Five
would be
weeks.
so much better if he could get therapy.
Yeah, we that's one of the things that we're an advocate for,
Yeah.
that, fight insurance. Like, it doesn't mean that, yes, we do know that a lot of people take advantage of that as well. A lot of people say they're not sick, and they take advantage of it. But you really need to listen to the respected doctors. If a doctor, in the industry I'm in, if the doctors are constantly have something that doesn't sync, then yes, you should review them. But a doctor that says, no, this patient needs ongoing, it's ongoing. Mine has been over 30 years, like Gary's, and I still need work on my right side, because I've suffered a stroke.
Right.
So, it's unfair that I have to pay for that out of my pocket, when I do pay for insurance.
Exactly.
That insurance should be able to. Why are we paying for insurance?
Right.
It's just, it's so crazy, and it's just, so
It is.
we just keep
Frustrating.
battling. And we always say that it's not like, this is what we want, got to give it to us. Let's start the conversation. listen to us. Don't not listen to us. Listen to the needs, listen to the stories. I mean, if they would just watch our go to our website and look at the 7 years of shows we have on there, it's a prime example that you need ongoing
Right.
recovery,
Right.
recovery,
And in the long run, it's better for the insurance companies because people are stronger and they're not, otherwise they'll end up at the point where they have to go to a nursing home because they can't manage it all on their own. So
Yeah.
you've got, the focus should be to keep people strong and active.
Yeah.
And
And
that
not
can be
even,
done.
after a major, a major illness. It really should be in general, like keep people healthy. I mean, I forget, somebody just said that to me, like they wanted to go to, I think it has to do with my granddaughter. I forget, my granddaughter suffered 4 or 5 seizures. She's only 9 months old.
Oh,
So yeah. So we're challenged with that. But I forget whether it was her or not. But the fact that there's things that you want to do to support them in their recovery or in their life, how to navigate through this.
right.
And insurances, and I don't know whether this is true for them, but I know that insurances sometimes won't pay for you to go to a different doctor. But the truth is they should pay, because it could get really serious, and it's very scary. It's a really scary for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even imagine, like, how it feels to, I can't imagine, because I've been in that situation with somebody. But the fact that, somebody suffers a stroke, one of the things that we always want, one of the goals and objectives my foundation has, and we were talking about Dr. Beckulis about this, is to really start a group that when someone suffers a stroke and goes into the hospital, that someone like myself or someone that has survived a stroke could really just be there for the families of the person that's in the hospital. Only because strokes are so, first of all, they don't only happen to your grandparents, they happen to everybody, which Gary is a prime example. And we want to just say, listen, we heard it, they suffered a stroke, but we just want to be there for you to know that there is hope, right? There is hope. Look, I suffered a stroke. Look, Gary suffered a stroke too. Gary has his weaknesses. I have my weaknesses, but we're here. And we just want to show you that there is hope. And just, because when I suffered my stroke, I'll never forget being in the hospital and my father at the foot of my bed. And this was all new. We had no idea. We never had anything about strokes. So it was scary. It was scary,
Yeah.
so we want to bring hope to everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And, life does go on after a stroke. It's different. We adapt and we accept the changes and we go on.
yeah. So we're gonna end in a few minutes,
Okay.
because
I just want to ask a quick question.
Uh-huh.
Was Gary he was a family doctor? Did he visit, years ago, I'm dating myself, but years ago, doctors used to do home visits.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He made home visits and
Yeah.
yeah.
Those were the days.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were. They were.
If you
My
couldn't
father-
get to the doctor's office, the
Right.
doctor would come to you.
Well,
Yeah.
and now they just, no matter how sick you are, well, come on in. Well,
Yeah, I remember one time when I had pneumonia and they asked me why I was in the office. I said, well,
right. Yeah.
you have to be your own. You have to have advocates around you. You have
Right.
to, there has to be one person or two people or a few people who know your history and can be there to work with the doctors. You're not saying what the doctors should do, but it should be a joint communication
Right.
in what can do, because doctors are new to their history. They only
Right.
see things on paper, where the advocate or the person that loves them or is there for them knows, well, that's not going to work. Like my daughter, one time she had asthma and I brought her to the doctor because she wasn't waking up in the morning. So I ran her to the doctors, and And they said, "Oh, she's okay." Well, I said, "No, I want a chest X-ray." I just knew I want a
Right.
chest X-ray, and it turned out that she had pneumonia. If I hadn't had insisted on that chest X-ray, then I would have went home. She would have got sicker. The whole thing. So
The whole picture would have been different.
yeah, when the doctor called me, they finally said to me, "You were right."
Yeah.
And the person who knows them best always knows how what they what how you should navigate through it. You know, you're the one listening to the doctors and everybody for the way things should go.
Yeah.
You know, so
You know what the differences are. You know that person so intimately that
yeah,
you know when there's something wrong or not.
yeah,
And if you're looking at, let's say, a CAT scan, and they give you a picture of it, but they're not explaining to you how severe it is. And you ask them and they go, well, you have to go see a surgeon about that or whatever. You have to question it. If you're looking at the picture and it doesn't make sense to you, and the general family doctor is not explaining it right, you need an answer, and you need to have a copy of it, plus the, what do you call it, the disc.
But yeah.
You have to get answers to whatever is wrong. You have to get answers. The family has to get the answers if the doctor isn't giving you the total picture.
yeah. So we're really, oh my God, we're isn't a Zoom and internet thing wonderful where
It is. It's amazing.
we would have never been able to connect if,
Yeah.
and we're so blessed to, Gary, the work that you're doing is remarkable. You're
Thank you.
remarkable. There used to be this young man that was in a wheelchair that had, what did he have? And he was a world leader as well. That, remember him? I don't remember his name. And he couldn't speak and he was in a wheelchair and he had something. But I'm gonna look at, but that's what Gary reminds me of, because through the silence, he really brought the world together. He really brought the world together, and that's
Anything is possible if you think positive and you work hard at it.
yeah. So we're so blessed to meet both of you, and thank you for your time.
Oh,
And
thank you.
are
Thank
you? Is the show? Is it a contest? Is it the show that you're
No,
going
it's I'm framing a lot of work and then we will be hanging it up and letting people buy it.
Wow. You know, you mind me asking approximately what is the range of the
There's just everything, anything from well, on the website, there's some originals for 140, but then we have limited edition prints, and then anywhere up to, there's a couple of $1,000 because they're just fabulous.
I'm
Some
sure.
of them I don't even
sure.
part with. Some of them I simply can't.
Yeah, but they're
The work
incredible.
is just incredible. Yeah.
We have. Go ahead.
When somebody is looking, when people are looking at the paintings,
Yeah.
do you tell them that he had a stroke and this is his?
Well, I have a little
So
bio
amazing.
up there.
So amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking for that person. What his name was, I can't remember.
Oh,
Well, anyway, so we're so thankful.
let me know, 'cause that's interesting. Yeah.
If you ever need our help in any single way, please reach out to us.
Thank you.
We're very blessed to have met both of you today, and we wish you only the best, in
Thank
your
you.
future
I
endeavors.
feel the same way.
Yeah, and thank
Very
you
nice
so
to
much.
meet you.
Thank you.
And if we can help again or just, stay in touch. It was lovely to be with you.
Thank you.
Yes, we're our telethon. We'd love for you to be a part of our telethon next year. Because our foundation's name is the language of love, music, the language of love, which music is a language of love in my world. So it's such a blessing that Gary, the language of art, it really ties into our world, and we really, you're
But,
bringing so. What's
what would
that?
you say? He was an amazing pianist also before his
Oh,
and so he still plays with his left hand. And it's beautiful. So in fact, in that video that we have of him, that's him playing in the background with his left hand.
that's beautiful.
So Gary, do you think you could do like a short video for us? Our telethon isn't until next October, but if you
Sure.
could do, you
Yeah.
could video, that would be precious. That
Yeah.
would be precious.
That
Then
would
we
be
could show the artwork. I mean, it'll just be,
Yeah.
you're speaking volumes to people, and that is incredible. So
Yeah.
we're so blessed. So nice to see both of you. We're gonna
Thank
close
you.
out with our audience. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Let's blow our kisses.
Blow our kisses. Ready on three. 1, 2, 3.
Uh-oh. Blow kiss.
God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. We're going to be closing out, and we want to remind everybody the importance of acting quickly as this show, this prior show, really has pinpointed. And I got to say again how amazed that I believe that God showcased to us exactly the importance of reacting. I mean, just think about it. I want to leave you with a little note that Gary was sitting in his recliner at home when his wife came home and found him had a stroke. And Jim was sitting in his recliner at the computer and was not responding to us. And we had to, after trying to reach out, call 911. And we were not wasting any, Judy was not wasting any time. She just called 911. So we're so blessed. We're so blessed. So I just want to remind you of that. And thank you so much to everyone. So we'll see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
great day.
Thank you. Bye. So we just,